Thank you everyone for joining us for our quick webinar today. I have the pleasure of introducing a very close friend of mine, Mr. Willie Parker. He's an attorney who specializes in criminal and employment law. He's right here in New Jersey. He's available for both virtual and live in-person meetings at his office, which is located in Union, New Jersey. And the contact number for Willie is 973-449-5901. Don't worry about grabbing a pen and paper. We're gonna put it at the bottom of this video, available for everyone. If you're in any issues regarding criminal law, I, for one, go to Willie all the time whenever I need help for my clients. So he's a great resource. Definitely reach out to him. And today we're gonna be talking about the newly passed marijuana law. Willie, I'm gonna defer to you to give us some information on what's going on. And we'll pick up and talk to our clients about what possible immigration issues there could be, and whether or not this law, puts things in the clear for them. So please take it over.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank Pooja for inviting me to this video seminar. I'd like to say hello to everyone. I know that some people are very much celebrating this new law, but I'm here to assist you as much as I can. Those who enjoy recreational marijuana, or know those who do, the law now is where if you have 6 ounces or less, it's no longer a criminal offense. And even if I think it's less than 2 ounces now, that it's a ticket or a fine. However, that doesn't mean that if you are here not in legal status, or you've yet to gain legal status, that if you were to plead guilty, that charge still may affect your immigration status. So if it affects your immigration status, it would affect you more in line in the area of moral turpitude. And so, though I'm a criminal lawyer, I wouldn't exactly be able to advise you on your immigration status. So you would need 2 lawyers. You would need someone like me to help you on the criminal side. But Pooja is an outstanding immigration attorney. As she comes to me for her criminal advice, I go to her for all of my immigration advice. And I would advise you to do the same if you are in that position. Since my part of this seminar is just to let you know that what used to be illegal is no longer that. However, those same crimes stand for intent to distribute and those type of crimes. But for the small amounts that normally you were arrested for, put in jail, anything under 6 ounces, that is now not going to happen. However, again, you have to pay attention to your resident status here. If you're a United States citizen, the seminar doesn't apply to you. But if you are not, and you want legal status here, or you want to eventually gain legal status, I will turn it over to Pooja so she can tell you exactly how that may affect you.
Well, let me ask you something. Because as attorneys, what do? We always try to find the loopholes, and if it's not this, if it's that. So if there's a situation where, let's say there's an individual, in our instance, an immigrant who is in New Jersey, they're using, let's say, recreational marijuana or medical marijuana. My understanding is that that's also legal in certain ways. But let's say, in our hypothesis, because things happen, ICE comes in, or let's say some other federal agency comes in, and even though they're using something legally in New Jersey, would it be possible for them to have a criminal case on the federal level? Forget about New Jersey, but is it possible to have federal charges against them? Because my understanding is that marijuana is still illegal on the federal level, correct?
Well, it still is, because they haven't changed that. However, I would have to look more into that type of specific case, because ICE would be coming in not to seize drugs. They would be coming in to seize the individual. So whatever warrant they would have, or whatever a search on the property they would have, would not be for, they're not there for drugs, they're there for the person. So everything would arise out of that, if I'm not mistaken. Would that be correct? So then we would see how they would then list those charges. Would they list that possession as a federal possession, or would they then not list it at all? See, sometimes ICE wouldn't list it at all, because that may interfere with it depends on the total amount. It depends on where it was. They arrest the gentleman or the woman on the bed, but the marijuana cigarette is on the dresser. They're in the house, but it may not be their possession. They're not really there for that.
Got it. So it sounds to me like jurisdiction. So in order to get it at the federal level, they have to get the federal prosecutor involved, and then it's at their discretion what they want to do with that incident in its entirety.
Right.
Okay. So then in our world, the immigration world, I always tell my clients, you always have to second guess whatever you do until you get a green card, because you are not allowed to be here in this country. If you don't have a green card, you are either here illegally, so you really have to be careful, or you're here on a temporary visa, some temporary status that allows you to come here for a specific purpose. And when that purpose has been completed, bye-bye. You got to go back home. And so if you do anything that's going to affect your status, then naturally, even if it's legal on the state level, it's going to affect your immigration case because of the federal issue that goes back and forth. And like you've brilliantly said, Willie, that they are considered crimes of moral turpitude. It's almost like the federal government is going to give you a lesson in morality, but unfortunately, that's really what it is. It's this broad net that basically states that if you have been convicted of certain felonies or certain criminal charges, then you are at the discretion of the interviewing officer or the deciding officer, and it's at their discretion whether or not they want to grant that status or that benefit to you. And nowadays, yes, President Biden is in power, in presidency, but that doesn't mean that old laws or policies that under immigration have been eradicated. So you still have to be careful. You still, like you said, Willie, have to have a criminal lawyer and an immigration lawyer, because you can't be dependent on just one. And to do something foolishly because you're concerned about the price tag would really be to jeopardize your whole ability to stay in this country legally. And possible bars can be imposed on you. You don't want to, if you have a spouse or children that are under you on a dependent visa category, you are then jeopardizing their status and their ability to continue and work or study here in this country. So as a closing note, really, if you're not a citizen, you really have to be careful, and you really have to check twice whether or not certain state laws are applicable to you. If I could just say one other thing before we close. Yeah. It's imperative that you get both attorneys at the same time. If you can get your criminal attorney first to place your not guilty plea in, then they can set up the judiciary process. But then you need to get your immigration attorney so that your criminal attorney and your immigration attorney can talk to each other, so that they can then work out what is in the best interest. Because I've had cases where the immigration attorney will tell me, can you get this certain type of plea? Can you get this amended? And if you can get it amended, it won't affect their moral turpitude standing. And so if I had not had that conversation with them during the process, it could have hindered them in their ability to stay in this country. And I'm so glad you made that point, Willie, because I am in a similar situation where it's not even anything serious like marijuana, but basically my client failed to pull over for the police. She was suffering from some mental issues, and she wasn't able to understand that the police were trying to pull her over, not somebody else. She got a whole bunch of things charged against her, and her naturalization application is now in jeopardy because of these criminal charges. And she didn't retain an immigration attorney until the last moment, when her criminal attorney basically said, I need you to go out and get a criminal attorney, an immigration attorney, because I don't know how to help you and you're putting yourself at risk. So then she hired our firm. Yeah.
And I want to say that whoever that was a good criminal lawyer, because we're only authorized to tell you that this plea may affect your status. You may want to go get. I will always tell a client that has immigration questionable issues, I'm going to put this on hold and I'm going to let you go get an immigration lawyer. And even when they tell me that they don't have the money, I will instruct them that that is a necessity, because you might be happy here as they carry you out of this country. So what happens here is less important than what's going to happen when you talk to them. So I would recommend that if you were in any type of situation, you would get a hold of Ms. Mehta and her firm, and you talk to them. And then even a firm of that caliber, they know lawyers to reach out to.
That's it.
Your immigration status is extraordinarily important and should be primary, even over what the criminal is, if your goal is to stay in this country.
Absolutely. And we talked about this really briefly, but I had a case where my client was in Georgia. She pled guilty to a certain plea. The attorney did not advise her that this could affect her immigration status, and she was a green card holder. And what happened was, because moral turpitude came in, they put her into deportation proceedings. And this is before Obama. This is everyone. It took us 7 years to correct this case, because she had to go back. She had to file a case against her attorney in Georgia, file an appeal with the Georgia court systems, get that charge overturned. Once that was overturned, we then showed the judge here in New Jersey, this conviction isn't good anymore because it doesn't exist, because she wasn't advised. And after literally having her status in no man's land, right? Because she wasn't a green card holder, she didn't leave the country. After almost 7-8 years, we finally got everything reversed, but she was lucky, because not every case gets overturned and gets vacated.
Well, if you had that exact same case last year, she would have never been in this country.
Yes.
Yes. I mean that the timing of that case had a lot to do with the fact that Clinton had been president and then Bush was president. But after that, if she would have had that case anywhere from 17 to 20, your client would have just been taken out of this country. It would have.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's just unfortunate, but these are serious issues for people to keep in mind. And, I'm lucky to have a great partner like you to always bounce ideas off of. And as always, 973-449-5901 is Attorney Willie Parker's phone number. It's available at the bottom of the screen. And we hope you found this video helpful. If you have any other ideas or, cases that you'd like us to discuss, please leave your ideas in the comment section and we'd be happy to discuss them. Thank you for your time, Willie, for, discussing everything with us, for looking so handsome. It's been so long since we've seen each other face to face, but we're going to make it happen soon.
Yes. Have a great day, and thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.